Discipline isn't something you find. It's something you build, brick by brick, decision by decision. Most people think it's about willpower. It's not. Willpower fades, structure doesn't. The greatest minds in history didn't rely on being in the mood. They built systems that didn't care how they felt. Chapter 1: Systems over Moods. Marcus Aurelius wrote every morning, even on days he didn't want to rule. Da Vinci sketched every night, even when no one would ever see it. Marie Curie entered the lab knowing the work might kill her, and she still turned the key. That's not motivation. That's design. The human brain loves comfort. It craves shortcuts. Discipline rewires that instinct. It tells the mind, we do this, whether we feel like it or not. When you create rules you don't negotiate with, emotion stops running your life. That's how Marcus led an empire without losing his mind. It's how Da Vinci filled thousands of pages before anyone recognized his genius. And it's how Curie worked through exhaustion, not because it was fun, but because it mattered. Chapter 2: The Myth of Readiness. If you want discipline, stop waiting to feel ready. Ready never comes. The painter doesn't wait for inspiration. The writer doesn't wait for flow. The athlete doesn't wait for motivation. They begin, and readiness follows. Most people want to start when it feels right. Discipline flips it. You start, that's what makes it right. That's how real momentum works. Not from hype, but from habit. Chapter 3: Build your rules. Wake up at the same time. Write when it's boring. Train when you're tired. Because discipline doesn't ask if you're inspired. It asks if you're serious. Structure protects you from chaos. It turns your day into a ritual instead of a reaction. That's why monks and soldiers live by schedules. Not because they love rigidity, but because they know freedom is impossible without structure. When your habits take over, you don't waste energy deciding what matters. You already decided yesterday. Chapter 4: The Science of Small Wins. Start small. Do one thing today that your future self will thank you for. Then do it again tomorrow. That repetition, that daily proof that you can trust yourself, is how discipline grows. You don't need to become perfect. You just need to stop breaking promises to yourself. That's what discipline really is. Self-trust in action. Every time you follow through on something small, your brain learns, I'm someone who does what I say. That identity builds confidence far deeper than motivation ever could. Because motivation says I can. Discipline says I do. Chapter 5: The Inner War. When people say, I can't stay consistent, what they really mean is, I don't believe myself yet. That's the war discipline fights. Not with the world, but with your own disbelief. You build discipline by proving yourself wrong. Over and over again. You'll fail sometimes. Everyone does. But that's where the real work begins. Getting up without drama. Restarting without self-hate. Discipline isn't about perfection. It's about returning. Falling down and standing up so many times that standing becomes reflex. Chapter 6: When discipline becomes instinct and one day, something changes. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop checking how you feel. You just do the work. You wake up and realize you've built a version of yourself that no longer needs pep talks. Discipline becomes instinct. It becomes your baseline. You don't force it. You are it. That's the quiet power of consistency. It rewires who you think you are. Chapter 7: The Root of Determination. Determination isn't about grinding forever. It's about remembering why you started. When Gandhi fasted, it wasn't from rage. It was clarity. When Einstein worked in silence, it wasn't stubbornness. It was curiosity. When Churchill refused to quit, it wasn't ego. It was purpose. Purpose gives discipline meaning, because without meaning, discipline becomes punishment. With meaning, it becomes devotion. The world sees effort, the disciplined see alignment. Chapter 8, The Art of Consistency. If you want discipline, don't chase intensity. Chase consistency. Intensity burns fast. Consistency builds forever. Everyone can train hard for 1 week. Only the disciplined can show up quietly for 1 decade. That's the difference between noise and legacy. Because the truth is, the people we call driven weren't born that way. They just made peace with boredom. They learned that greatness is repetition, without applause, without witnesses, without shortcuts. Chapter 9, Discipline in a Distracted World. Now, in the world we live in, discipline is rebellion. Every swipe, every scroll, every ping is a thief of focus. We've built a society that rewards distraction and punishes depth. So if you can focus for 30 minutes without reaching for your phone, you're already ahead of half the planet. If you can work deeply for 2 hours, you're in the top 1%. Because the modern world rewards those who guard their attention. And focus belongs to the disciplined. So build your structure, guard your time, keep your word, start small, fail often, restart quietly. That's the process. Not glamorous, not viral, but powerful. One day, you'll wake up and realize you've become the kind of person others call driven. But you'll know the truth. You were just disciplined. Discipline is what turns chaos into order, potential into results, dreams into history. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. It's already here. Begin, build, repeat. Because the world doesn't reward intention, it rewards consistency. And consistency belongs to those who choose discipline.